Hello, here we are live here on the Hero Initiative podcast. We got Bruce Baldini, and
Yeah.
I'm Rico DiCarlo. And today we're going to talk about Bruce and his hero's journey. Just because we have a Hero Initiative as a theme, we're always going to talk about the hero's journey. We're going to use some tarot cards and have fun with those. And we're going to have fun with some dad jokes. And we're going to have some interesting questions at the end if Bruce believes in aliens or not.
Yeah, I got my theories on them.
Okay, perfect. All right, so to start, Bruce, if you were a superhero, what superhero would you be? So, you got your, Superman, you got your Spider-Man, you got your Hulk, Thor, Wonder Woman, um, Captain America. Who's your guy or girl
Oh
or
man,
archetype?
that's yeah, that's a good one. I guess some people would kind of base their decision on what superpower they would want.
Yeah,
Um, I think I hope it's not a I hope it's not a cliche because my first name is Bruce, but I'd have to go with Batman.
Batman, Bruce Wayne, eh?
Batman, Bruce Wayne. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and
Not too much superpowers there, but he's very smart
yeah.
and kind of what vigilante, taking
Mhm.
it in his own hands and kind of making better light of darker situations. So yeah, that would be my guy.
hmm
Yeah.
that's a good choice. Like making light of darker situations. Like my favorite saying is, fall 7 times and get up eight. And yeah, just the ability to keep coming back, even though he doesn't have any superpowers themselves. He is pretty intellectual. He's got a lot of money and he loves gadgets. You like gadgets?
Yeah, like very, very techy, a lot of
Yeah,
gadgets, a lot of computer stuff.
yeah,
I think I was drawn to Batman kind of early on because I grew
yeah,
up at the right time when computers were starting to become a thing,
yeah,
and just tinkering with them, figuring them out, and then when the Matrix came out, it was all like hackers and stuff
yeah.
like that, right? And he's very into creating like programs and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, yeah, very much into the whole tech world.
And does that apply to like other things as far as like when you go to the gym, do you like tactile things? Do you like the balls and the ropes and jumping over things and even sports with like hockey obviously has manipulators with the skates and the sticks or like lacrosse has some are you that type of person who's good with like tools or good with the stick and ball sort of thing?
Yeah, like kind of like hand-eye coordination.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think the technical side of that rolls into like being at the gym. I'm always trying to get better at techniques,
hmm
and even with sports, right? Like very technical with the plays, and um, I guess you're kind of thinking everything like a chess game, right? Like
Yeah.
one kind of step ahead, right? So you
Yeah.
with like hockey, we grew up playing hockey a lot, hockey and
hmm
basketball, and so just trying to find like the right strategies and everything like that. So very technical in that regard.
Right. And then Bruce Wayne and obviously Batman they're the same person, but they have it's an alter ego. So a big thing with like and Hulk and Bruce Banner, and we got Bruce Wayne and Batman. They have that personality where they're that scientific mind. Also, they can lose it and go to their dark side. Obviously, Hulk's on the good team and Batman seems like they're on the good team, but when they go to the dark side, Hulk smash and Batman smashes also. So,
Uh,
do you have that alter ego, that up and downness in your character too?
yeah, that's that's getting deep. It probably plays a lot into that. Um, there's definitely like an alter ego there. I would say my alter ego out of the two is during the day I'm kind of like Batman, but there's very much of a Bruce Wayne playboy kind of
Yeah.
very extrovert character that comes out sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I definitely see that with your ability to be that extrovert and go a little bit above and beyond with even confidence. It can boost up to the alpha male, but also if you're tired or maybe lose some confidence, you can start to drop down a bit, like the nerdy Bruce Banner or Bruce Wayne, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say yeah, if you if you look at Bruce Wayne and Batman when you're going back down, like
Hmm.
Batman's very recluse, he's in a cave, he's very dark and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
sticks to himself. So yeah, yeah, it's very much like that. A very common life pattern between me and Batman.
Yeah, there you go. And I
Yeah,
think that, with the Hero Initiative, we're using Christian Thibodeau's and we're using Charles Poliquin's neurotyping, and that's big for your rest recovery, and it's big for your the exercise you choose, the rep range, um, the actual like percentages that you're going to use for the like you know what I mean? Like 1 rep max, or you're doing like 15 to 20 reps, or you're doing like 1 to 3 reps. So the 2A neurotype, which is Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Banner and Hulk, that lends to the idea that you're going to be able to do a variety of different things. So sometimes you may can do yoga, other times you can do explosive stuff with the sled. Do you feel that sometimes, like when you get in the gym, you like Hulk smash or Batman fly, or something like that, or do you feel sometimes I gotta like do just a slow and steady cardio, or like yoga, like nice and easy, or breathing techniques? Does that apply to you?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's been times where you go to the gym and it's just like heavy, intense workouts, right? Big
Hmm.
weights, pushing everything to the max till failure. Maybe not so many reps,
Hmm.
um, but just trying to max out so you get that like that Hulk mentality, right? Just
Yeah,
big and a lot of strength. And then sometimes you get in there and you're very strategic. And so
yeah,
you like Batman mode and you're like, okay, this muscle group, there's an injury I got to work on. There's
yeah.
certain strength building exercises that I want to do to
Hmm.
get better at maybe lifting heavier. So yeah, it's always changing for me. And when I first started going to the gym, I thought, okay, I'll follow a schedule
Hmm.
and work on a muscle group one per day and stuff like that. I found out after a while it was more like I'd go to the gym and it's like, what is my body feeling that I
Yeah.
need to work out now? Before it was, quite a very strict regimen
Hmm.
that, when I go to the gym now, it's like, okay, had it in my mind I was going to work out my arms, but my back feels like it needs to get some workout
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel too, like you said, when you look to work out your back or your legs or something, your body does respond to that. Like where Batman puts a suit on and he's like just jacked and ripped, or obviously when Hulk uh turns to green mode, he just his shirt rips, his pants rip, and uh, you seem to respond to the blood flow and the stimulation, the nervous stimulation as you're lifting weights. And I don't know, I'm not sitting there watching you if you're grunting or not, like the Hulk, but
Yeah. Yeah.
if you get into that grunt mode or Hulk mode, do you find you really swell up?
I do, yeah, especially when you're really into the workouts and everything's
Mhm.
clicking and you're lifting heavy and it doesn't feel like it's you're going to cause an injury or anything like that, but like the workouts are working, you feel all the muscle groups firing off and then you're like, holy cow. This pump is getting really big and I don't know,
Mhm.
like muscle mind connection or your body is just responding right, but my muscle groups in the blood swells, and every time like you get into the change room and you look in the mirror, you're like, I wasn't this big when I got in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, other times, if it's a very technical workout, I won't get much of a pump in the gym. It'll just kind of be more um like fine tuning uh the things I need to get better in the gym.
Mhm.
There'll be days I'll leave the gym and I don't even feel like I worked out. And
Yeah.
I might be in there for like 2-3 hours and come out feeling like I maybe got like a 45 minute or an hour workout in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that about the style you train. You seem like some people chase that feeling. They chase the pump, or they chase the look that you get after the workout. And I mean, maybe there's this bit of narcissism in all of us where we're like, okay, we're gonna work out and we're gonna look in the mirror and we're gonna look good. And my best friend Mike Bianco, he always says like, look good, feel good, play good. And I think that's a big component of when we do work out. Yeah, maybe there is that psychological component of say, oh, I work out to look good. And that seems like on the surface, but you actually feel good too. And you gain confidence because you actually completed a task. You've accomplished something, you see immediate results, and you feel immediate results. So there is like a huge benefit with, working out at home, working out at the gym, just going for a walk, because that's maybe something you didn't want to do that day. And maybe, like I said, you get that pump or that blood flow, and your consciousness changes, your body changes. And I think that's an immediate reward and with immediate results. And I think that's what we chase and we keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my motto since last year has always been gains are gains, no matter how big
Hmm.
or small. And for a lot of people, I think the initial mindset is I'm going to go to the gym to look good, and then when
Hmm.
they see the results right away, they end up giving up because it's not coming as fast as they wanted to or thought that they would. But it's it's changing your mind and your mentality when going to the gym, that even
Hmm.
if it's a half-hour workout, a 15-minute workout, or if you're advanced, like maybe an hour workout, it's something that you maybe didn't want to do, or it's completing a goal and a task, and all those like those little bits each day, they will add up at the end of the month, and you're getting those gains slowly, slowly, slowly. So it's not a, how did someone put it? It's not a race. It's a marathon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It takes time, but if you can change your mentality where you start to think, okay, a little bit today, a little bit today, a little bit today, all of a sudden it starts to become more of a lifestyle and less of a chore. And
Hmm.
it just becomes, basically a routine. It just fits in, and you get those endorphins kicking in, almost like runners do, right? Every time
Hmm.
you enter the gym and leave the gym, you're never disappointed. You always find something, even with the worst workout. I mean, I've had really bad workouts. They last a half hour,
Yeah.
but you're like, oh, I did a lot better on like my upper chest, or I did a lot better on my calves, maybe like small muscle groups you don't really work out too much. And you try to find the good and something that maybe didn't really turn out the way you wanted to initially. But again, the bigger picture is you got to the gym, did something healthy, and you left with results. You might not see it, but at the end of the month, you keep doing those things, and you'll definitely start to see them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, as far as like the little gains every day, never ceasing, never ending. And that was a Japanese saying called Kaizen. It's hard to pronounce and define, but that's a very important concept. And it reminds me of a story when I was a kid in a small town in Cape Breton. Me and my friend Rob Marshall would always look for, there'd be like a baseball tournament or usually a baseball tournament at the field. And we would go at the lunchtime on the Monday and we would go under the bleachers. And under the bleachers was just a plethora of coins that were dropped.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
people would be, up and down the stairs in the bleachers, and they'd be going to buy hot dogs, and they'd be buying drinks, like alcoholic drinks, sodas, French fries, and we had really good, that dirty type of food at our canteen. So we
yeah.
would go there and at lunchtime at school on that Monday, and we would collect all the coins that were left
Nice.
over, from the baseball tournament. And you'd be shocked, like, as a kid, when you collect, $20 to $30 of coins. That's pretty
Oh
big to
yeah.
go buy. We would buy playing cards, sports cards, or we'd buy candy, or we would buy comic books and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it was interesting how those little nickels and dimes would add up to be, a dollar or $30. And it was just
exactly.
it was fun to do that, to find those small little puzzle pieces that made up the whole picture.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great example, or illustration or experience to share, because like a dime doesn't seem with has a lot of value by
Mhm.
itself, but you keep digging, and maybe it took you guys a half hour to collect all the coins and change that
Yeah.
were dropped, but like, by the end of that time you've got like $5. And I
Hmm.
mean, back then for kids, $5 went a long way at the corner store or something like that. So, but
Yeah.
you put in the work and you get results, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. You put in the work and you get results. And a thing that was funny, because in maybe the people that aren't from Canada would think this is interesting, that we got loonies and toonies. Remember, there was like, I believe there was a dollar bill and there was a $2 bill a long time ago.
it
So that's
was.
harder to drop than the loonies and toonies. So
Yeah,
the switch over from the loonies, from the dollar bill and the, $2 bill, the paper, to the coins actually benefited our little hobby.
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
So those were, I still think they're interesting coins. You don't always find that around the world, but we
yeah,
have loonies and toonies. I think it's named after the loon, or the bird, that it's kind of duck in the water here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the tooney's named after, but I just saw a post. I guess they're making an all black loony, if I'm not mistaken.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's to like a commemorative coin for the Queen's passing. So like both sides are completely black.
whoa.
Yeah,
This is like
yeah,
Pirates of the Caribbean treasure stuff here.
yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so as the Batman character, where would your hideout be? Because every character needs, obviously they're on center stage sometimes, but they do need a hideout. So real world, you can pick anywhere on the planet. Where is your hideout?
Oh, ah, that's. I mean, I think the easy answer for me to go to would be like the gym. It's
Yeah,
because it's kind of become like a sanctuary for me, right?
yeah.
Just go there. It's a therapy session. It's a way to
Mm,
escape everything like that. If I had to pick anywhere in the world, I mean, a really nice remote cabin out in the mountains, completely off the grid,
right.
no one around. If all if all the elements were right and it's a perfect world and perfect case scenario, and I had kind of like a bat cave, quote unquote, to escape to would be out in the mountains in the woods somewhere.
So basically, you've got this nice cabin in the woods in remote, BC or Argentina, I don't know, or something
Yeah.
like that. And you've got this bat cave under the cabin, or is it separate? Is it in a different part of the mountain?
Oh, it would be like yeah, it would be pretty cool. So you'd have the cabin at the forefront, and
Hmm.
if anyone had been passing by, they thought, oh, it's just a remote little cabin out here. But I think I'd have some sort of like bat cave built into the mountain, you
Hmm.
know, maybe like an underground secret passage, or there'd be a doorway that looks like
Hmm.
the rock face, but it's actually the door to the cave, and the mountain would
Hmm.
open up, and you'd enter in that way. So it'd be a little bit of engineering going on with figuring out how to build that.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, a little bit of engineering for sure. Perfect. So we got that sorted out. Okay, so next segment we're going to talk about the tarot cards. So this is part of like the hero's journey. So if you know anything about tarot cards, they're just like there's 22 major arcana or 22 major cards that takes our hero on a journey, and it typically links up with any story we know or like movie we know or comic book, and is very symbolic. So it's really hard to read because there's so many different interpretations. So the card we're going to choose today is the Fool card. So the Fool card is a representation of the beginning of a journey. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to pull that up. So can you see that yet?
Not yet. I'm gonna maximize my window here. Oh, we got some loading happening.
Okay, anything?
Not yet.
Yeah, your share is loading. So anyways, let's just focus on, so the card is a person. I got a card here. Can you see this here? Can you see the card in the face? How about now?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. So I got there we go. Now I can see it.
Okay, so the fool is on the top of a mountain, and he's looks like he's about to walk off a mountain. He's got a little dog with him. He's got a satchel. He's holding a flower in his hand. The sun's shining, and there's a mountain in the background with like
Yeah.
ice caps. So the difficult part of the fool is that um, you got to start at the beginning again. Have you ever like had an experience or like it's New Year's and there's goals to be set, right? So you know, have you ever felt like that? Like you're a fool in a journey starting all over again?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was basically my life from last, well, I want to say last January
Yeah.
till January. You know, it's very much like that. I had by I think it was by the end of December in 2020 yeah, 2021. I'd made more money than I've ever made in kind of like my work history. More
Mm,
money like to know what to do with.
right.
And I just let bad influences and other types of things uh kind of take advantage and get a hold of me and change my mentality. And uh by by March by March last year, all that I had worked up to over the years and getting to that point of like success and everything like that had completely been like taken from underneath me.
Hmm.
And kind of hit a bit of a rock bottom and had to restart from spring last year.
Hmm.
Even up until now, like I still feel like I don't have my feet on the ground, but it's a very humbling experience when you feel like you have everything in your
Yeah.
hand, and then now you're grinding away to make it to the next day.
Hmm.
You start
Yeah.
to appreciate all the little things a lot more because you know how easy it can be kind of taken away from you. So yeah, very much having to start new again and relearn things, relationships,
Yeah.
uh, lifestyles, everything like that.
Yeah, that's a good description of the fool character. And there's also a little dog in the picture here, who you can see.
Yeah,
So he's a little dog in the picture. So the dog in this picture represents like nature. Like sometimes when you're on a journey, let's say you fall off the mountain like the fool, inevitably does. Uh, you might have like unseen hands helping you, or a coach or a mentor, or like animals. Like, I mean, this kind of fits to you quite well because we just earlier you had the dog coming in the picture, right?
yeah,
So humans did quite well with the dog that was a wolf before, right? The dog was a wolf, and the wolf domesticated with the humans as we hunted and gathered. And you can see, if anyone experiences like living with dogs, they're pretty clever with barking and helping us with the territory around us. They actually eat up the stuff that we leave around, because in the wilderness, if you've got food left around, it's not good, because obviously we know living in Canada, bears or deer or
yeah,
crows or cranes, something, or squirrels or rats, something's going to come to grab that food, and the dog does a good job of actually picking up that food, cleaning it up. It also does a good job of smelling around or leaving a scent, and it does a good job of companionship. So the dog as like a spiritual companion, as we know, dog and his backward is God, right?
yeah.
Has that ability to help us out. So it represents the nature or natural part of the world helping us out. And, obviously, they have this unrelenting love or compassion, or adoration of us too. So do you have an
Mm.
experience with that, with something supernatural or something like nature helping you out?
Um, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of helping hands in my life over the last year.
Hmm.
Um, it's probably something I haven't really thought too much into with pinpointing if there was a kind of constant underlining um kind of similar trend that's always popped up in my life over the last year. Yeah,
Right.
to kind of remind me that there's some sort of help there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer, but it's something that I probably haven't really thought too much about with
Hmm.
uh, with if there's kind of an invisible helper in the background.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think like as at this point in time, you got your business is like dog sitting or walking dogs, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
I'd
so
say that your current is an energy or a flow of something, right? So the dogs have actually given you currency, physical currency, like we talked about coins and everything. And we've
yeah,
got the dogs adding compassion. Interesting coincidence that they came up. The dog
yeah, no
comes up
doubt.
as we're talking. They know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah, it's brought some friendship to you, companionship. It's brought some currency. You've met people with the dog. So I'd say, indirectly, it's been a helping hand for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and it's funny that like an animal was depicted in that card, and it was a dog. Because I've always been drawn to animals and always had I don't know, I guess a connection with dogs in particular. And
Mhm.
I started the business last year. It just kind of seemed like a natural fit.
Mhm.
And met a lot of great people during the whole process, and families and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of helped anchor me to build stability back in my life and
Mhm.
responsibility. A lot of I guess getting back into a proper routine in life where there's a little bit more structure.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Nature has this natural routine, as you know, with dogs. They don't mess around. They know for some reason, when to eat, when to wake up, and they don't even have a watch and they don't look at a clock, but
Yeah,
somehow they're interconnected with the way the moon goes, the way the sun goes, the way the day goes. So I always found that interesting how they're almost like clockwork, like gears in a clock or like a simulation as far as like a video game, how they run on that natural instinct. And I
yeah,
think it connects to you too with that everyone says like the dog and someone, right? Is the dog's got fight. Like if you get knocked down, you know, I know my dog and you know my dog now that it's relentless,
yeah,
absolutely relentless. And you've seen a lot of other different dogs too, where they are relentless. It's hard to keep them down. They don't really get depressed that much. They don't get too anxious. Um, like as far as we got to put them in a home or an institution, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
They don't get too sick, but they do hit speed bumps and they just keep going. So it sounds like your story is a little bit like that, where you hit a couple speed bumps in a road, but you're still going along the way.
Yeah, it's I think that's the one thing I learned about myself is I had a lot more fight
Mm-hmm.
than I knew I had. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give myself a lot of credit for that. And yeah, there's some scary times, it's not just rock bottom, but almost like losing your life kind of rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize that you want to keep living, you want to keep going, you'll fight for it, and you'll do everything you can to make the situation better.
Yeah, yeah, and that brings a good point to another. There's another symbol in the card here. He's holding I believe it's an acacia flower in his hand,
Right.
and the flower in the fool's hand is a representation of like having like a good thought or like an enlightenment or something that opens your mind up.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned something like rock bottom or near death sort of thing. Tell us more about that and how that helped you like switch the brain into the change and action mode.
Yeah, it's a very specific moment that happened last year. I'm very transparent and open about my experiences that happened
Yeah.
last year. So I fell into the drug world and addiction and everything like that.
Hmm.
That it just consumed my life. There wasn't a minute, literally a minute that had gone by in a day where I wasn't consuming some kind of drug.
Yeah.
And I was I had a partner at the time just briefly, and I remember there was a moment where I saw her on the edge of the bed, and she just looked like a corpse, like
Yeah.
very pale, like just worn out. We were probably on like a 3 or 4 day bender, and
Hmm.
I was just coming out because you run out of money, you run
Hmm.
out of drugs. But I couldn't afford to get anything, so I was kind of detoxing and everything like that, but a little bit more coherent with everything
Hmm.
around. And I remember looking at her and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
This isn't me. Like, I do not want to be that person sitting on the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
Because like there's nowhere else to go from here except for the streets, and that's basically where I was. I at that point I'd lost all my money, food. I almost lost my condo. I was basically
Hmm.
just running on empty, and
Hmm.
that was the moment where I realized like what I'm doing right now I need to stop, and then I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get healthy again.
Hmm.
And I got rid of all those bad influences in my life and the people and her and everything like that. And I actually took off to my mom's for
Yeah.
about 4 days to detox because I knew
Right.
I couldn't stay in Kelowna. Like I needed to get out of the city, and I drove to her place and um just got myself like mentally back together. And
Hmm.
Yeah, that was the key moment in my life where I knew that if I kept going down this path, like nothing good was going to come out of it. And it was almost like looking into a mirror with her sitting there at the edge of my bed, and it was just like an aha moment, or like someone
Mhm.
snapping their fingers in your ear, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, no, not this.
Mhm.
I don't like this. So yeah, it was a turning of the page for me.
Yeah, that's thanks for sharing. That's a good experience to switch from like, okay, you see the risks and you see the consequences to the lifestyle and the actions, and all of a sudden you move from that unconscious stage to the conscious stage where, like you said, that's a good image of the corpse on the bed. And then there's cards like that have that with the death card and whatnot, but
Yeah.
that's kind of it. And the acacia flower, it could represent a psychedelic, and you can see, I wish we could see on the screen, but he's got a bag here, a satchel, and on the satchel is like the third eye or the eye of Horus.
Right.
So the acacia flower could be a hallucinogenic, like a sort of like a psilocybin mushroom, or there's ayahuasca sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
That helps the third eye open, and the sun in the picture too represents him, connecting to that sort of light of consciousness and waking up. And most people take a while to move from the unconscious to the conscious and then the action stage. So it seems like you kicked that in gear and moved to the action stage, and you just went, full on,
Hold on. Yeah.
onto the adventure. Yeah,
Yeah. It seems like that's been a trend
yeah.
throughout, maybe not so much before like 2021, about going from
Hmm.
like 0 to 100 in just like a couple seconds, but definitely
Hmm.
over the last year, 0 to 100, and a lot of things I've done, you know,
Hmm.
um, with the addiction, it wasn't over a number of years. It was over
Hmm.
just maybe 2, 3 months. And it
Yeah.
was a lot. So when I share that experience with other people, and they're like, oh yeah, like we've partied and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, the amount of stuff I was doing happened in like 2, 3 months. Like it was always 0 to 100. And that's the same thing with my recovery.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait 2, 3 years. I got to change now, and I'm going to do as fast as I can, because I don't
Hmm.
want to feel like this for a number of years, and have the scare of relapsing or something like that. So
Hmm.
you like the old term is like going cold turkey, just
Yeah.
cut it out
Yeah.
and just and get rid of it. So yeah, it's very much like that.
Well, awesome, man. I think that's a good wake up call, and I'm glad you stepped into the action phase, and you just not just stepped in the action phase, you just kind of took off running, which is part of the archetype of the Batman, where he's 0 or 100, right? Or Bruce Banner and was Hulk, right? Bruce Banner and Hulk. They switch really quick. So as long as you can find the happy medium within the those two opposites, I think you'll be just fine. But at least you can see that now. That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, and I think that's the journey this year is going to be finding, is that happy medium. I I did what I needed to get to this point, and now it's kind of maintaining that and finding a good balance where
Hmm.
you're always pushing yourself, but you're not going to the extreme where you're gonna burn out in
Yeah.
uh in such a short amount of time, and then not falling too far behind where you get into some old habits, and not just talking about like an addiction or anything like that, but like just bad habits with your mental health, or maybe bad routines, whether it's eating or cleanliness or anything like that. After a while, it just you become comfortable to the situation, and it becomes a danger, and you're unaware of it.
I mean, great. That's a great answer. And I think I liked the when you said um, awareness. That was key right there. Like the awareness of it all, so you can catch yourself when that stock market goes up and down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not running with the emotions anymore and
No. Yeah.
reacting to things. You're more proactive, and you're able to control your reactions. So that takes us to the next section where we're going to do the dad jokes and
All
trying
right.
to restrain ourselves from laughing. So uh, that's a big key for us all to stay on track to our goals. That we're always going to get distracted. There'll always be speed bumps, but if we can stay focused and maintain our cool or be the eye of the storm, that's key. So what we're going to do here is you're going to take a sip of water and keep the water in your mouth, and I'm
All
going to
right.
read three dad jokes, and you're going to try to pass the test here. Okay?
Oh man.
You
Okay.
ready?
All right.
So you got it? Okay, here we go. Dad joke number one. I'm afraid for the calendar. Its days are numbered. Okay, number two. My wife said I should do lunges to stay in shape. I think that would be a big step forward. No? Okay. How do you how do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You just follow the Fresh Prince. Okay, you passed the test. You can now swallow.
Oh man, the second one was hard though.
Yeah.
First one was like a little ease in. I'm happy
Yeah.
the third one it wasn't as good as the second one, but yeah.
Okay, good, good. So now we've got the self-control. Okay, so what's what's Batman's next steps forward? So what's your big dream, your big goal at the end of so we'll call that the world card here. It's tough to see, but this is the world card here.
Okay.
This is when the hero goes through all the 21 or 22 steps and they basically conquer the world or whatnot. But there's a lot of more challenges along the way. But what's your main goal to focus on, like the top of the mountain? What does that look like?
I think it's just to have to be excuse me, to be at peace with the decisions that I've made
Hmm.
and also the mistakes that I've made.
Hmm.
And to um by giving by being given this second chance to kind of make things right and better this time.
Hmm.
And there's a few different things in my life that are helping with that and keeping uh keeping those goals at the forefront. And one is my health journey and accomplishing the online the personal trainer course and
Yeah.
nutritionist and stuff like that. So that'll kind of harmonize with my lifestyle and the last year and what I've gone through and
Hmm.
using it as a tool to help others in different aspects of their lives. It's not just a form of income or a job or a career. It's a lifestyle that I feel like would
Hmm.
help bring that peace because I know I'd be giving back something to somebody. And when I can see it in someone else, the same joy that I got over the last year, it's a bigger fulfillment than just collecting money from somebody. So there's that. And I think seeing the success of starting a business from scratch and nobody knowing you and
Hmm.
becoming very, very popular and what's the word? Uh recommended by others in the
Oh, right.
community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and that was another thing before where I wasn't really a big part of the community in Kelowna.
Hmm.
But now it's a lot of the success for my business has all been word of mouth. So um it's getting the trust from others to be able to call on me to help out in their life for something that they love, like their pets and
Hmm.
dogs and
Hmm.
everything. Um, hopefully by the end of the year, that'll all kind of come together and work with each other. I think with my health, it's at a good point right now where before in 2021, I was given by my doctor, I was given only 5 years to live if I had kept the
Hmm.
lifestyle I was going. That was before drugs. It was just not doing anything, plain and
Right.
simple, just not doing anything. So that's already in kind of my mind been accomplished. It's just these other two being fulfilled and completing all the little things in between,
Hmm.
with stability and family life and everything like that.
Yeah, it sounds like the world card has that there's a wreath around here you can see, and that's what it is. When you complete your journey with yourself, you're able to like give back to the community and give back to other people after you've received the boon from the gods or whatnot. So that's I think a full completion for you. And the journey never ends. You may fall off the cliff again and you get picked back up. I'm hitting there grabbing you here by the back of the neck like a dog.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Bruce, here we go again. And
Yeah.
and then we go back on the way. And or maybe you're grabbing me by the scruff of the neck and dragging me out of some sort of tough
Yeah.
situation. Who knows? But that's how it all works, and that's how we are held accountable, and that's how we get results is with our team and with our partners and with your friends and family and coaches and community around you. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there with sharing back after you've kind of went through the course. Whether it's a metaphorical course or a physical course, or intellectual course, you could still give back to the world and give back to the community. So I think it fits that archetype quite well. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I don't think it would have been possible maybe a couple of years before with the type of person I was then to have the same sort of connection with people and have them say to you, I
Hmm.
had one client actually say to me that because it was something that I had done on such a small scale for them with their dog, but he had mentioned anyways that what I'm doing helps so many people in ways that I don't know, even if it's just visiting their dog and going the
Hmm.
extra step, whether it's after hours and stuff like that. And I don't think I would have had that connection, that want and motivation to give back to others or make them feel
Hmm.
good. I was always kind of a bit selfish and trying to better myself, and maybe not in a healthy way too. And
Hmm.
even going forward with the personal training, it's giving back and making others feel better about themselves, because I know with my accomplishments how that's made me feel. So
Hmm.
having completed that circle first was important in order to kind of conquer the world and
Hmm.
go forward.
Oh, I think so. I think that's exactly it. And you said that quite eloquently of the way the journey unfolds. And the more you're aware of it, the more you can see the pattern happening, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Okay, final question. So we got extraterrestrial. So extra means outside of the Earth. So that's like, let's say the gray beings with, the big heads and the eyes that look like little puppets, or the Terra, which means beings that are like hybrids that have like the angels with the wings or the devil with his bat wings and his, goat head. So they're like beings that are kind of human and hybrid, like other,
Yeah.
whatever animal they've been hybridized with the DNA. And Astra, so extra terra astra, extraterrestrial. Astra means beings from a different plane of existence and somehow interacting us with like ghosts or spirits or it could be demons, whatever. So what's your thoughts on all these?
Excuse me, just getting through a cold right now,
Right.
coughing. I've always been interested in it growing up. Never thought too much about it over the years, but I think over the last year, um, very much in the invisible part of that. So
Yeah.
maybe not an actual creature from a different planet visiting
Hmm.
us, having some sort of helping hand with things on Earth
Yeah.
that some cultures believe, right?
Hmm.
The invisible, the what's the world word? Uh, I can't think of it but right now, but yeah, maybe not so much like angels is what's
Hmm.
depicted in the Bible or mythological stories and stuff, but spirit creatures for sure,
Hmm. Hmm.
and having some sort of influence with people and other even objects and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or energies amongst the
Hmm.
world and stuff like that. Definitely saw some stuff over the last year
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's just unexplainable, right? There's got to be something in the background kind of doing something
Hmm.
that makes you start to wonder.
Yeah, and that's the point of the question is to like the extra terra astral, right? So I'm asking you your imagination to go on different planes of something outside of Earth, something in Earth that's a little bit stronger, like the Hulk or like Thor and stuff like that. Or Thor's from a different planet. Forgot about that. But and then astral traveling, which is those entities like or maybe our grandparents or ancestors that are dead that are ghosts now or something helping us. Maybe there's entities that are just light beings or blue gel, or there's so ghosts that we need to get in a different plane. I'm not too sure. It's just a fun question to expand the mind past anything that we've practiced before. So, anyways, thanks for coming on this episode. That's all the time we have for today. The great Bruce Baldini. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think this has been really great. I thank you for the platform and allowing me to share my story and journey and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
was fun with the little joke segment. But yeah, no, looking forward to more. This is great.
Okay, man. So take care and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
Okay.
All
Bye
right, man.
bye.